I thought you were going to spill the tea on something.
Oh, I'm not spilling the tea. No, I'm asking you a question. That's how we're starting.
Ready?
Who is Taylor Conroy?
A man I used to know. It's Taylor Love now. And you know, it's funny, my mom was here like a few weeks ago, and we sit down, and she goes, "So, Taylor?" And I'm like, "Oh, we're getting serious, right? We just been playing with Leo and hanging out and all that." She goes, "Who is Taylor Love?" And I'm like, oh, wow, because her and I have not talked about it. She had seen she says one or two of my videos. Whose mom watches one or two of videos? She's
seen
binged those
85
videos,
at
for
least.
sure.
Yeah.
But she's like, "Oh, I just watched one or two," and she made a point of saying, she's like, I don't particularly agree with the message, but they look great or something like that. She said it wasn't even like a surface level. She was a nice genuine compliment, but my mom is a full on feminist, right? And it's funny. Christy and I were talking as we were getting coffee today. I don't know what brought it up, but I was saying, like, you know, part of my infatuation with relationships and masculine and feminine dynamics, and a man being fully in his masculine and a woman being fully in her feminine, etc., is likely wanting to experience the dynamic that I didn't, you know, or that maybe I saw. I remember glimpsing it at friends' places. You know, their mom was there and she seemed very nurturing and all that kind of. The dad was there and he was doing his work and whatnot. And in our house it was different. My mom's phenomenal. Don't get me wrong, unbelievably amazing. And I'm everything I've accomplished in my life is from mainly, I would say, watching my dad's work ethic, but watching for those moments my mom would pull me aside and be like, no, you're not going that path, you're going that path. And like made me very, what's the word, committed.
Was she telling you what to do?
She could see stuff happening and unfolding. I remember like doing construction work when I was 11 and 12 years old. And then when I was 16, driving my dad had a construction company, big construction truck with ladders on the roof, cube vans, right? And we'd be putting on siding and gutters and stuff like that. And I'd get home from a day of doing that in the summertime, which I did not want to do. And my mom would be like, "You know why you're doing this, right?" And I was like, "To make you guys money, I guess. I don't know. Cheap labor." And she's like, "So you know what you don't want to do when you grow up." She was just perpetually keeping me on course. You know, when I was 16, I was like vandalizing cars and smashing things and breaking the laws many times as I possibly could. And if she found out, she just had an epic way of just like aligning me, right? Which I should say is a very feminine trait.
Yeah.
For a woman to be discerning and be like, "Hey, man, back on here," and for me to like, oh, "Okay, got it." You know?
Did it go too far into the power of like, I'm in charge? Because that, to me, that sounds very like a beautiful.
I think that there's this documentary I watched. Okay, I'm going to go on a little riff here.
Okay.
And it correlates directly, I think, to how women can treat men, or if women knew this part of the male psyche, they would treat them very differently. And men would show up very differently. Okay. And the documentary is on He-Man. You know who He-Man is?
That's like it's old,
action
right?
figure. It was the highest selling action figure of all time. Okay. I had it. I was born in 82. So like in the 80s, it was just crushing in the 80s. It was right after Star Wars and it obliterated Star Wars from a sales perspective. So that's a lot. Okay. Anyways, He-Man is this like really burly dude. They said if he was like anatomically correct, he'd be like 750 pounds. Anyways, the reason he was the highest selling action figure, little boys were obsessed with him, myself included, is that in the daytime, kind of like Clark Kent and then Superman, daytime he was Prince Adam. Okay. And then he would turn into He-Man. That was his like alter ego kind of thing. And he would pull out this sword and this lightning bolt would like hit the sword as he's turning into He-Man. And he's like, like this. And his eyes are glowing. And he would say, "I have the power." Okay. And the reason that he would say, the reason that the creators of He-Man said those are the 4 words that we want this to come out of this guy's mouth and to make him is because they saw in the early 80s or late 70s, early 80s, that boys spent their lives being told what to do by women. Because back then women weren't as in the workforce as they are now. It was much different back then. The mom was running the home. Women were teaching. Women were in positions of authority throughout a young male's life, and the boys felt powerless. And so it was them reclaiming their power. And in relationship, the most common dynamic that I see, the masculine and feminine dance, or where it actually starts to butt heads is there's this power struggle early on in a relationship, right? And I'd say, 9 times out of 10, maybe 8, 7, 8, 9 times out of 10 in a relationship, the woman's got the power. And they don't want it. Polarity gets lost. And I'm not saying the man should have the power over the woman. That's not what I'm saying. In this 3D reality, I think that men should lead.
Yeah.
I do. I think we're built for this 3D reality in a different way. And women are more built for the 5D.
Yeah.
You're the oracles. You got all the wisdom,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
We've talked about this in Tantra.
Yeah.
They say women have all of the wisdom.
Yeah.
And men's job, our job is simply to help you guide a woman into herself really deep so she can gather the wisdom, bring it out and share it.
Yeah. We just need to feel safe in order to, and that's the biggest, to me, it's the biggest miss. It's the biggest tension and rupture and disconnect that's happening in relationships right now, because our deepest need is emotional safety. And when we feel emotionally safe, we're soft, we're gentle, we're tender, we're in our body, we're present, we're connected, we're not telling, right? We're listening and guiding. And when we don't feel that, though, then we feel like we have to be on guard. And that's where the energy of the very intense, feminism sort of mentality and mindset, I think where that comes from.
Yes.
Because we as women collectively for a long time now have not felt safe. And I experienced that. I think a man that is not, and I really want to hear your side of this, but a man that is not safe within himself, if a woman communicates, hey, I don't feel safe. I said that. I said those words out loud with my last relationship dynamic, and it was not received.
Wow.
He was defensive. He was like, it was almost like anger came out, and it led to a very intense experience. And all I was wanting to communicate was, I just need to feel safe. And you just told a story of an experience when you just walked up to the woman that you were dating and just gave her a hug when she was feeling super emotional, and how instantly that softens.
Yeah, it's interesting you say that a man has to feel safe in himself to be able to provide that for a woman. And I think that comment on, for so long women haven't felt safe. I mean, feminism, that was needed. Like that was required.
Yeah.
Because women weren't safe.
Yeah.
Period. I don't know if you watch like red pill stuff or, the stuff online. There's like this huge divide, right? Yeah. Some guys talk about feminism as if like it's just this horrible thing that never should have happened and everything was fucking puppy dogs and rainbows before feminism came along, right? Men had their place, women had their place, everyone was happy. No, dude, women were not happy. Do you think they would like want to go to work because they're like super stoked on being at home and being under the thumb financially, emotionally, and physically of a man? No, men could do whatever they want because women couldn't leave.
Yeah.
And that said, I truly believe things have gone too far.
Yeah.
The pendulum swung too far. But for change to happen, that's the course.
Yeah.
Stuff is really not great. The pendulum goes to another spot, and at some point, ideally, there's a balance. Or in reality, I don't know. My goal, if I was the head of feminism, would be to get it to the spot that a woman can choose what she wants. She's not going to be shamed for not working, right?
Yeah.
I was talking earlier today to Christy about this. I was saying this actually was a woman on Hinge who messaged me. She saw my profile, and I think I said something about traditional gender roles on there, and she goes, "Tell me about that." That was like her opener, which I thought was cool.
Yeah.
And I said, "Pretty simple. I'll do the things that make the money. You do the things that give you energy."
Yeah. Sounds great.
I'll do the things that create safety structurally in our world.
Yeah.
You do things I'll do things that give us energy, right? If we were in a partnership, I'm going to make the money for us. You do the stuff that gives energy to you.
Yeah.
Right? Because if you've got a ton of energy, that's going to get poured into our children. If we have children, it's going to get poured into me.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to get to go and I'm going to go make more money.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know a guy who's going to make more money than a guy who's like on fire for his woman.
Yeah.
And is like providing, or the close second to that is a guy who's trying to impress a woman.
Yeah.
But I think something that women don't realize is that you're our motivation, right? A woman said to me recently, which I disagreed with. She said that initially disagreed. I now agree. She said that women get their energy from nature. Okay, women get their energy from nature. Men get their energy from women. And I was like, no, damn it, I think she's right.
Yeah, that sounds true for me.
Does it?
Yeah.
Tell me more.
Yeah. If I'm doing the things that I know feed my spirit and soul, it is walking on the beach. It is being outside. Yeah. It is moving my body. It is like being way more connected to the 5D, right? Which is all in like intuition, energy, my like power as a woman. Then I am then pouring that out into everything that I touch. If any of those parts of me are missing, then it is, and again, that equals safety, right? Then I'm taking it out on the world around me. But that's not my true self, right? Like being critical and being critical of myself, being critical of other people, being more judgmental. When I remove myself from the smallness of life and I go out and experience like, oh yeah, there's so much more out there. Getting on an airplane, which I just did to come here today, right? Like it's one of my favorite ways because you're up in the sky and you realize, oh, there's so much out there, way bigger and way beyond anything that we can comprehend. And I instantly feel like my whole nervous system softens and I feel more in love. Yeah. And I don't mean with anything in particular. I just mean like in that energy of life.
I'd love to bring it to ground too, and like give a tangible example of a man making a woman feel safe.
Yeah. I have a specific. Do you have one?
I've got one because of a conversation earlier today about the emotional puke bucket.
But I also did you answer my question of who is Taylor Conroy? Oh. Because you went on, you told me about your mom.
I'm a double Capricorn. How do I answer? I usually answer these questions.
I thought you're a Leo rising.
Yeah, well, I'm a Capricorn rising. Capricorn sun, Capricorn rising, Leo moon.
Leo moon.
So Capricorns answer that question, what we've done for work our whole lives.
You started talking about your mom, though.
I know, but I guess that maybe I was deflecting it. Who's Taylor Conroy? I don't know. I'd say a highly, highly sensitive now man, let's say a highly sensitive boy in the shell or in the embodiment of a man in his masculine. I would guess, I'm very driven and ambitious and forward thinking and leading. And, I have, 70 people that depend on my work to feed their families kind of thing. And I love that. Yeah. I want to provide, I want the fucking ball when there's 2 seconds left. You know what I mean? I want to be the one in the trenches. I want to build. I love it.
Yeah.
And there's a dichotomy with ultra sensitivity, which shows up as probably troublesome empathy.
What do you mean by troublesome empathy?
Troublesome as in, I feel like it could be looked at as it gets in the way. I'm more emotional than most men.
Gets in the way of what?
So, okay, I spent like 7 years of my life raising money to build schools in developing countries, right? We raised freaking $5 million or something like that. It was amazing. And I built up like a technology platform to help people raise money and stuff like that. And I didn't even have a place to live. I was just couch hopping at friends' places, living between 3 or 4 different cities, right? It was like New York, Vancouver, LA, San Francisco, because I was trying to raise capital to build this technology company for building schools and all that kind of stuff. We've built 100 and how many at now? Probably got 175 houses, and we're going to build 20 more next weekend, which is going to be super dope. I'm super stoked. Actually, in 10 days from now, in Oaxaca, which comes from this almost like not a psyche break, but a time of deep oneness that I had back probably like 15, 16 years ago, where I just couldn't go back. I couldn't feel any separation between me and other humans. And that can be very troublesome. Do you know what I mean? It wasn't because the stages are like, oh, I understand what they're feeling. It makes sense that would be hard for them to go through. A next level is like, oof, I'm feeling what they're feeling. A next level is like, I am them. We're all feeling it, And so that can be, I think, just super troublesome. And I think anyone who has high emotional or let's say high spiritual sensitivity, has had that experience or has it, and operating in day-to-day life with that can be challenging. So I'd say maybe troublesome empathy And I mean, it even comes up today. Hopefully he doesn't see this, but I'm supposed to be like negotiating a contract today, right? I'm on a very serious call and I'm listening to him and he's like, this is why I think I should be making more money and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, fuck, he makes a really good point here. You know, like I feel for him. He's like, these are my expenses. I was like, oh my God, we got to pay this guy more, you know? When in reality, no, we shouldn't. I'm the president of the company. We should be, it's me and the CEO and him talking. So I'd say it can get in the way, but it's also obviously it's like a double-edged sword. It's something I love about myself at the same time.
Yeah.
So let's call it empathetic masculine man. I don't know. Is that the answer?
Yeah.
Who Taylor Conroy is?
You're asking me who you are? I mean, I see it's interesting for me to hear your explanation of it because I see all of those things in you, and the way that I receive you is an incredibly safe man. Like one of the, and I have a story to share and I absolutely want to hear yours as well. One of the safest men that I've ever come in contact with. So much to the point where the story that I'm about to share, you likely have no recollection of it at all, is my guess. And maybe you do, but this was a few months ago. We were at our friend David's house. He was having a party.
Yeah.
I had brought the man that I was thinking I was going to be in this relationship with. It went 0 to 100 really fast, as I like to do. But it was long distance. So I learned that lesson, right? Like I need to be in somebody's energy before I get build any sort of attachment there. But anyway, he was visiting me in Hawaii and I brought him to our friend David's house. And what I had shared with David was that this was a man that I was very interested in and I hadn't given him the update yet. You knew that this was not my man at that point when you met him. And it was later in the evening and we were all sitting around in the living room and it was you, myself, David, and this man. And David looks over to me and is like, hey, he's all excited. He's like, hey, Dee, new man in your life? And instantly my body went from like safe to completely, in less than a second, to completely unsafe. Like my whole actual like language in my body and my experience like shrunk. And without even... it wasn't even a full second. Like you didn't even hesitate. You were just so aware of that question. You instantly looked at me and said, how's Rebel, D? And my whole body softened and I just instantly felt so safe, so safe. And it's like something, and I'm guessing you probably don't even remember that, but I will never forget that moment because that is what every woman is looking for. You didn't even think twice. It didn't even register to you that I was about to feel unsafe. You just knew and chimed in to essentially like, and I don't like the word saving, but like you really did. You came in as like, I'm here to protect you. I'm here as like the man. And I instantly was like held in that moment. And that's what we're looking for.
Wow, what a great, thank you for that.
Yeah. I
don't remember that specific instance. I'm really grateful you brought it up. And it feels like this thing, I'm often DM'd from women saying, can you make a video on how a guy can make women feel safe? Because they're in a relationship and they don't feel safe.
Yeah.
You feel good now?
Yeah.
Okay. And
you know I could get emotional at any moment.
Yeah. It's all welcome here. And one way, I think there could be this epic reframe for guys. I just talk in male terms here, like the logical. It's almost like guys, there's like a level of opportunities that you have with a woman to let's get rid of the word safe, mainly because for men, let's get rid of the word safe for men because we don't get it. I'm almost 200 pounds. I'm 6'2". I don't feel unsafe. I don't remember when's the last time I felt unsafe? I don't know. I don't have a memory, right? Any woman listening to this has felt unsafe this morning.
Yes.
You know,
yes.
or like they're right now they feel unsafe because someone looked at them weird or whatever.
Yeah.
So because we men don't understand the need for safety, then if a woman says, I don't feel safe, we don't get it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's got to be another word. There's got to be better branding, right? And I'm not saying that women need to change their words. I'm just let's say if I was talking to men and I'm trying to say, you got to make women feel safe, I would actually probably move that to the side and say, you have opportunities throughout the day, the weeks, the months, that for you to deepen, to connect, to bond, to solidify something, that relationship. Or let's go real male speak, is like you've got a very precious few opportunities to be her hero. And women will never leave their hero. They want to be with the guy that they look at as a hero.
Yeah.
I think anyways, it seems like that. And there's small opportunities like that one. That's a tiny opportunity. Someone says something that doesn't vibe with your woman. Do you let her wallow in it, or do you come to her aid energetically or physically or whatever it might be, right? That's a tiny opportunity, which she will never forget. Mm-hmm. Then there's like medium opportunities. I was driving down the street with a woman that I was in a new relationship with, and I think it was going quite well. And we're going down the highway. I'm actually driving her car, and we're roasting along. Actually, it's like a big SUV, and there's a pothole or something that I guess I just didn't see, or maybe I got too close to the shoulder or something like that. And it just kind of like rocked the vehicle. And I kind of keep driving, like, oh, sorry about that. Keep driving. And I can feel and see that she's kind of like, she got clammed up like that.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, wow. And so I pulled off the road and I just held her for, I don't know, maybe it was a few minutes, 10 minutes, I don't know, 3 minutes, I don't know how long it was, until she was like, So that's like a medium opportunity. Like something happened, whereas a guy, rather than going, oh, this is a time I can make her feel safe, that doesn't like click with us. It's almost like hero time. Like if we rebranded it for men, okay, for the male brain, of like, oh, this is a moment. And it's not what I thought. I felt that our nervous systems were very, what's the word? Not enmeshed, but like attuned.
Yeah.
Right. So I could feel that hers was off, and I wanted to help her bring it back to solidity, or regulated. And then I'm sure there's bigger ones too, right? There's probably like those times in life where a parent dies or someone close to you dies or something happens that's genuinely massive. Yeah. And that's going to happen almost once a quarter in people's lives.
Yeah.
Like every 90 days, you're going to have, as a guy, if you looked at it, you're going to have a bunch of little opportunities day to day, right? And that might just be filling a water bottle up.
Yeah.
Or doing something like that. There's going to be some medium ones within those 90 days, and there's probably going to be a big shaker. And if guys, rather than running from those times, ran to those times and like saw them as like, ooh, here's my opportunity to like really show her what I got. Yeah. And maybe that's what it's not heroes kind of bullshit, but like here's a time that I have an opportunity to show her what I got.
Yeah. I actually really like the hero language because that's what it felt like for me. Like, oh yeah, you're my hero. Like nice. you came in to save me in that moment. And again, like it doesn't have to be in a romantic partnership, right? Like you and I have this beautiful, deep soul level friendship. And by you showing up that way for me, it allows me to feel safe in my life, in my experience. And we're not in a romantic relationship at all. So there's so many opportunities for men. And I think that that's an important distinction, that the word safety does not resonate, because I can think back to this conversation with this last guy when I was sitting on my couch in my living room and told him I don't feel safe, and how he completely rejected that. Like said to me, I feel like I need to get on a plane and leave right now.
He said that in that conversation?
Yeah. And I said, I instantly just felt like my emotions are too big. Like I can't. No. And then I felt too much. I felt too emotional. I felt like all of those thoughts, all the wounds, right? All the insecurities, all the fears came in. And then I started explaining, right? And that's what we do, the over explanation. Like the over explaining your experience, trying to for me, trying to be like, oh, well, here's why I said that. And continuing down that path rather than just sitting, because our power is just being in our emotion, right? And just allowing that to be. When we go into the over explanation mode, that's where I feel like
totally out of your body, you're out of your experience.
We move from here to here and we lose you, right? Like you're already gone, you're not paying attention. And I don't like, do you think men can actually hold a woman's emotions?
So this is female speak that doesn't land with men.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Short answer, yes. Short answer, yes, absolutely. But if let's say we applied this rebrand to whether it's the hero language or what was the other one?
Show me what you got.
Show what you got. Yeah. And she's feeling really emotional. That's one of those opportunities. She's really emotional. Oh, this is where I get to show her what I got. And the way that we show her what we got is by not getting defensive, right? Because And I'm telling you guys, it is so freaking hard not to. It's so hard because you're like little ninjas with what you're saying. And you're like, I know this is going to hurt him. Fink, you know? And then we're just like, "Grr, no." And so we're not reacting to your emotions, we're reacting to this like thing, right? Whereas we need to be, I don't know, like on the Matrix. You see the Matrix where Neo's like doing this thing and all the bullets are like passing him. Yeah. That's actually holding the emotional puke bucket, right? The emotional puke bucket, if someone hasn't heard, is, you know, when if a woman's feeling a lot of feelings during the day, because they feel, let's call it 10 times as much feelings as a man does in a given day, let's say. And she comes home, or she's just feeling a lot of emotion. She's drunk on that emotion. There's just so much of that emotion. She's drunk. And it's kind of like coming home back when, I know we both used to drink back in the day. You drink too much and you're laying in bed and you're getting the spins and you just need to go throw up to make yourself feel okay. And it's the same thing, I've been told by women, that they need to get those emotions out so that they can actually feel in their body again. Mm-hmm. So the emotional puke bucket is like, you go, hey, how's it going? And she goes, well, this went wrong and this went wrong, my freaking car. And you're like, okay, got it. And rather than jumping into, well, here's what you should do, right? Or whatever, or stop feeling that way, even worse. Things to not say when a woman's expressing
your
herself.
emotions are bipolar. I got that one.
Ooh, yeah, you don't put that one down on things shit not to say. Is you go, oh, wow, that validate that. I hear you. Sounds like your car died and you're feeling this way. What else? So there's 2 words. What else? And she goes, and then also you didn't fucking get milk, and and I ran out of my favorite green juice and whatever. And there's a storm coming. Oh my God, shit. The milk. Thank you for telling me about that. And the green juice. Yeah, it makes sense that you'd feel like that. What else? And you just keep saying what else until she gets to the point where she's like, that's it. And it usually comes with a exhale, and that's it. And you look at her, and you go, okay. And that's the moment that a transition can happen for a guy to the 3 H's. Does she want to be heard? Like in that moment, does she want to be held, or does she want to be helped? Right. Whereas men, we typically just jump to helped, right? Yeah. Like, or jump to like, just get, keep your emotions away from me. Yeah. So if we attach the rebrand to that whole like, show her what you got, when she comes home, and those bullets are flying, because they feel like they feel like they're coming at us. It feels like you've been sitting all day thinking about coming home and just unleashing on us, right? And for that man, he's going to have his stuff come up of when his mom used to yell at him, or his dad used to yell at him, or whatever. And so he's going to have some whatever response that he's going to have, right? Not saying it's good or bad or whatever, but as those bullets are flying at us, if we can have the ability to go, ooh, now I get to show her what I got. And the way I show her what I got is either by having really good armor on or force field or something like that, or being Neo, missing those and just going, oh yeah, it totally makes sense. You'd feel like that. Like, thank you. What else? If we can do that by the end of it, imagine her like trust, if there's a bar graph here of like how much trust is built in her for us, that's going to go up a bunch, because she now, not only does she trust that we can handle it or hold emotions, as a woman would say. That's not a thing. That's not a thing that a man, I don't think, would like intuitively call it. Yeah. Right. But she's going to trust not just that he can hold it or be there, but she's going to trust that she can be more herself in that relationship. And if you talk to guys, like there's this really cool book called His Needs, Her Needs, and it talks about like the top 5 needs of a man and a woman, blah, blah, blah. I'll skip the book and just say that the top need of a man is to be sexually fulfilled in a relationship. And this is not changing, right? Like women like to rail against it. Well, they should want communication. It doesn't matter what they should want. They want to be sexually fulfilled. Yeah. And so if we talk about like what's in it for the guy, the more that he shows her what he's got and the more her trust goes up, the more fulfilled he's going to be sexually, because she's going to be able to show up not just more of herself and more embodied and authentic in relating, like about her emotional puke bucket and stuff like that, but she's going to be able to show up more and more herself in every area, which means she's going to be in her body more, which means probably going to have better sex, probably more expansive sex and all the things. And so just like women like to joke about, well, for everything about sex for guys, kind of, and if we relate it like this, like guys, when you're there for your woman and you're just hearing her fully and you're right present with her and you're attuned with her and all of her, all the barbs, you just kind of let like do this, everything goes better, including the bedroom.
Do you think a man can feel when a woman is performing versus when she's like very much in her body?
Yeah,
Yeah.
of course. Oh, got it. Oh, no,
And I don't mean sexually. I mean,
you don't mean sexually.
I mean, it can include that, absolutely. But I mean, like, overall, because there's a lot of, and myself included, this absolutely was me. I was living my life, the past version of me in my marriage and in past relationships, as a curated, very much like masked version of myself, because all of me, right? Like, my full expression felt way too big, way too much, not allowed, not safe. So I had to be this like perfectly curated version of myself. So there was a level of performance, but I had gotten so good at it that even I was disconnected from the level of performance that I was existing in. So I'm curious, like, and now the person that I am today, I am so in my experience. I am so in my body where I am so attuned to anybody that is outside of that. I can pick up on it very quickly. But I'm curious if like a man can feel that kind of energy. Like, can you tell when a woman is truly in her embodied experience versus when she is existing or living in performance?
Yeah, I'll tell you something. It can feel very scary when a woman is fully embodied. Scary in the best way.
Yeah.
But it's like, look at all the times that men have tried to control women's embodiment. Enter almost every major religion, right? Enter our Puritan Christian values that we have in this country. It's because it's the thing that we know as men that we cannot control. We love control. Oh my God, we love control so much. Just feeling like we're in control, just like whether it's our color-coded calendars or it's, our manicured lawn or whatever it is, right? Yeah. It's like we love to feel as men that we have this control.
Yeah.
Because we're in this like infinite universe and we want things to feel finite. Men like love completion. We love order. We love boxes. Our brains are like waffles. There's this book called The Male Brain and it explains that men's brains are like waffles. There's compartments. We put everything into its compartment and everything makes sense, right? Whereas a woman's brain, in the book, The Female Brain, talks about it like the woman's brain is like spaghetti in a good way. It's interconnected. Like decisions go by a whole bunch of different pathways that a man's wouldn't, And when we, as a man, speaking from my own experience, when I meet a woman who's fully in her body and she's more in her body than I am, then for me, it's like an epic like call forward to be like, woof, I need to like get in there, And even in this conversation, like right now, I find myself kind of going, oh, get back down, like get back into the body, get back authentic. And I think we can hear it in people's voices. When I'm in my authenticity, it's like a deeper voice. It gets a slightly raspy. It's more like it's coming from here, When not, it's like, oh, what happened in that relationship? And, the voice starts coming from a different place.
Yeah.
So I would say absolutely every human being on earth has the ability to know if someone's being authentic or not, authentic or a different level of performing. It's just more obvious when some people are really performing, and you can see it in videos of them online. You could see it. This is why it's one of the reasons why before I go on a date, if I'm on Hinge, I don't think I've actually gone on any dates this time around of being on Hinge, but I've got one booked.
Ooh.
I'm quite excited. And, or just to get back out there.
I love your dating life.
And
so entertaining.
Was why I want to have a FaceTime call. I love to have a FaceTime calls because if you get on a FaceTime call for me and a woman is so not embodied, nervousness is fine. That's normal. I'm nervous. If I get one of those calls, you're kind of there like, so let's talk about something while we're thinking about if we like the person that we see. How was your day today? Oh, you got better teeth than I thought. This isn't like that's it's like a date. But I like to do that so that I can feel, is this woman in tune with herself? Because I'm telling you, I was having a conversation earlier today that what were we talking about? We're talking about you didn't want to teach a man how to be not angry, or what was it? You didn't want to teach a man how to be. She was like, I don't necessarily, we'll keep names and stuff out of it. She was saying she doesn't want to necessarily teach a man who's later in his years how to be in the world, how to heal himself, right?
Yeah.
Which makes sense.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah, absolutely.
how to be in relationships. Didn't want to necessarily teach him how to be in a relationship, which makes sense.
Yeah.
The equivalent is I don't want to teach a woman how to feel. I don't want to have to teach a woman how to feel. I've been in relationships before where I know how to feel and get deeply in touch with my emotions exponentially better than the partner that I'm with.
Yeah.
And that's not something that I want to teach at this stage. Because I only because I'll sum up my TED talk here is the female embodiment piece. I don't know when it happens in a man's life, but at some point we realize it's not a threat. It's our biggest strength. The woman's, her sexuality and stuff like that. It's not a threat. And you can't throw a bridle on it. You can't like harness it. You know what I mean? With men, you can harness our sexuality. We could, do like a non-ejaculatory practice and channel our chi, right? You can harness that.
Yeah.
You're not harnessing a woman's sexuality.
No, it just expands and expands.
Oof.
And
There's a
doesn't
frickin' ocean.
doesn't
Yeah.
stop.
Yeah.
And I would actually argue on the teaching piece, I don't want to teach a man anything. And old me would not have said that. And that may be people may not like that, but I really, anytime I've been in that position, and I've shared this with you before, the last couple of men that I dated were both long distance. So they came to visit me on Oahu.
Yeah.
And I was driving everywhere. My
I don't
car.
know. These guys,
And I even
rule number
asked,
one.
I was like, hey, do you want to drive? And both
did you want
times,
a set of balls for this trip? I
both
don't know.
times, they both were like, no, it's nice, like to not have to. And I was like, yeah,
It's fucking nice to not have to, because the woman's doing it.
yeah. And instantly
Read a
in
book.
my mind was like, that doesn't feel right. At first, it was just the knowing of like that doesn't feel right. And in honestly anything else, like I want you to teach me things. I don't want to be the teacher because I think our power is just being embodied in our experience and just being, right? We're not telling though. I don't want to tell a man what to do. I want to just be myself. And if things get picked up from that, right? Like you just naturally pick things up, but not me being like, first you do this and then you do this. And then like, that just feels very much not, I don't enjoy that anymore because I want to be old me also loved to be in control. And that was a story that I was like, oh yeah, I love to plan. I love like, that's just me. I'm so organized.
Wow.
And I am like, my closet is color coordinated. I do get pleasure and joy out of things like that. But I now am so go with the flow. Like even coming here, I'm like, oh yeah, I have to rent a car. Like old me would have rented that car like the moment you and I first started talking about me flying here.
Right.
And now I just trust and am way more in like, oh, it feels good to do that right now. And way more in my own experience and my own like actual lived experience versus, because I think control is, we don't actually really have that much control.
sure.
We think we do, right?
So tell me then, where is it that I hear a lot? 92% of my followers are women. So I got 800,000 women. If I hear from a guy in my DMs, I go, oh my God, hey, what are you doing here? This is a mistake? Are you marketing or something like that?
My dad is one of those.
Should we be friends?
My
Your
dad, he's
Oh,
such
God.
a fan. He's
Your dad
such
is
a
the
fan. It's
best.
so cute.
But with that, so basically I'm saying like 99.999% of the time, all I hear is from is women. And if they, in a good way. And the feedback that I get from them often is they believe that men aren't masculine anymore. And which I don't disagree with. They're not as masculine. They're not leading. They're not providing. They're not protecting. And I'm curious as to what contributed to where we're at in masculine feminine dynamics. I do know from the male experience that we can sense, talking about like sensing of where someone's at, but that we can sense when there's room for us in someone's world, someone's experience, or when there's not room for us. And we would never say that it would never come up. Was having dinner the other night at a friend's place, and there's a couple women there I had not met. And I was chatting with one, and she goes, I think I know you from somewhere. Maybe we met at Burning Man or something like that. We're just chatting, da, da, da. And I watched how she interacted with the other guys. I watched how whatever they said, she had a little snip back. Nothing nothing too hard, but just like, well, actually it's this. Well, actually it's that. Like these guys couldn't say anything that she wasn't correcting, right? And I remember just sitting being like, wow, I would never be in a relationship with that person. As I would hope that a woman would feel like if a guy is just like picking apart whatever other people are saying. And the way that it felt was, oh, there's no space. There's no space in this woman's energy. It's hard to put water into a cup that's already full, kind of thing.
Yeah.
So where is it? The conversation often is like, well, it's because women aren't safe and therefore we have to do it ourselves. Why is it that men are, it seems like drastically less masculine these days?
I think because it's been such a slow build of women going back into the workforce, of them being separate from their children, from their home, from their family, disconnected from our body, right? Like I think of that past version of me who was working in the corporate world, right? Like living in LA, sitting in my car for an hour to get to work, and then being there for 8 hours, and then sitting in my car for another hour to get home, and then working, like thinking like, oh, I need to work out, and then being exhausted mentally, physically, and everything in between, being so up here, right? Like not down here at all. And I think that again, like women, we kind of like put out our hand. We're like to the man of like, here's more, like come with me. And like there's more here. Like
what do you mean? There's more to life than what you see?
To life. Yeah.
Okay.
Like come with me and I'll show you. I'm not going to tell you, but I'll show you there's more. And that's like our calling. It's same thing with like our sexual energy, right? Like it's a calling to men of like, there's so much more out here. And when we're up here though, we don't see more. We're not in the 5D, we're in the 3D experience. And that's such a male masculine place to be.
Yeah.
And I don't think that was on accident, right? Like I think a lot of this was on purpose to remove women from our bodies. Like even the story that we all are told of, we burned witches at the stake. Those were women. Like we named them.
Those were like the dopest women for sure.
We named them witches so that we could other them and think that, and I remember being in school thinking like, whoa, that like what, like they are, all of the stories, right? Wow. And now just knowing how powerful we are, right? Because I've had to intentionally push myself in that direction, but also like my life crumbled to the ground. So, and I think that.
Can we talk about that? I'm so sorry to, can I just for a second?
Yeah, please.
The switch, I call it the switch. I'm sure someone else has called it the switch before, but the switch from masculine to feminine, it seems gnarly.
Oof.
I'm telling you, when two people, let's say a man and a woman, they meet and they've got polarity because she's in her masculine, he's in his feminine, right? They have polarity at that time. At some point, I'm guessing usually, I don't know if it's a percentage of relationships, but at some point she goes, fuck, this sucks. This sucks. I'm doing everything. He's basically like a kid to me. I want to be in my feminine. And then to do that switch from him moving into his masculine, her moving into her feminine, I've seen so many people attempt it. Very few attempt it and succeed at it. Yeah. And it's partly, I watch the guys trying to, step up or whatever the words are, like step into his masculine, be decisive and make directions and all that kind of stuff. That seems half as hard as a woman moving into her feminine, because it's not just moving into her feminine, being soft and putting on a sundress. She's letting go of control. Yeah. And she's letting go of a felt experience of safety. Right? A whole construct that she developed to feel safe. She has to let that go and go into this and then go into this world or this like nebulous realm where she's hoping to emerge feminine when there's a whole bunch of feminine guys, and she's not yet attracting masculine men. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because there's this like weird phase, it seems like, from out of, the thousands of DMs that I've read, I'm decent at pattern recognition, and I'm watching all these women like trying to sink into their feminine, but they get like halfway there and they go, but there's no masculine men, and they revert back to try to have control, right? Because the masculine men they don't have polarity with those women yet, but they will when they soften fully into their feminine, and guys will come in droves. I also get DMs from women saying, how do I slow down how many guys try to pick me up? And these aren't, whatever calendar models or, you know what I mean? Like you might just be thinking, well, it's because they're really good looking. Now they're just giving off so much epic feminine energy that just like women think that we are devoid of masculine men, men feel that we are devoid of feminine women. And we want that energy so badly in our lives and men are going to all sorts of extents to get it with their, like people have like app girlfriends, but I mean like AI stuff, right?
Yeah.
That they talk to.
Yeah.
I think people are marrying robots at places in the world already. And that's, don't get me wrong, that is an attempt to feel feminine energy. That's all of it.
Yeah.
Why do all these guys watching porn? There's some sort of stat that like 80-90% of guys regularly watch porn or something like that.
Is it that high?
I don't know. Something like that.
Yeah.
It seemed very high last time I saw this stat. The whole reason is because if we were to watch porn, we get to see the feminine. We get to see how it moves, though, of course, completely performative. We get to see someone acting out how the feminine is meant to move.
Yeah.
Right. And it's a way that we cannot move.
Yeah.
It's the energy that we have it inside us, but let's be honest.
Yeah.
We can't touch it.
It's just an openness, right? Like you talking about the women that are sending you messages saying that there's so many men that are asking me out on dates, right? Like I would argue that they're likely just in a state of openness, right?
You're right. You're totally right.
The energy shifts. Like I was sitting waiting for my car to be washed today before I drove over here. And I didn't even notice the gentleman sitting with his son on the next bench over, but I had like the gift the chocolate bag that I brought for you. And he, just asked me a question, but I was just sitting there like very, very open because I was just in the energy of like, I'm so excited to be here. Life is so beautiful and good. And that was what I was putting out into the world. And he, just felt like it's safe for me to open this conversation. It was just a beautiful interaction. And it's that level of openness that I think is being missed right now because women have had to put on this role, wear this hat essentially of like, I've got it all together and I don't need anybody, even though that is very subconscious.
You and I agree on most things. Can I challenge you on this one?
Please, yeah.
The wording women have had to is, I think, very destructive for women specifically. And mainly because I see I have to so many times in messages to me. I have to is a very subjective statement. Yeah. Objectively, did you have to drop your femininity, not you, to a woman, did you have to drop your femininity entirely to survive? Actually, the answer objectively is no. Yeah. On a level, and we're not victims, right? On a level, you chose to. Yeah. Now, did life circumstances happen that were a very strong reason for you to choose that? Yes. Were you right in choosing that? I bet you were. I would wholeheartedly trust your decision to go fully into the masculine as a reaction to what was going on or not going on in life. Probably didn't feel safe. Went into the masculine to get some safety. Makes total sense. And I genuinely believe that being feminine or being masculine is a habit. Yeah. We talk about it's like an energy. You got to cultivate the energy. Sure, you cultivate the energy by being in the habit. A man cultivates the energy of being masculine by making decisions and going with them. He can adjust if needed. He cultivates the energy of being masculine by not running across the street if someone is coming, by being slow and going on his pace. He goes like, there's all these like micro moments, right? He decides what he wants in his future and he aligns his whole life to the most important thing in his life. It's a very masculine thing. Yeah. Right. Yeah. And that's a habit that we can cultivate. And it's a habit, and being feminine, I'm not a woman. I don't know. I don't totally know, but I think it's a habit too. It's a habit of, in those moments of constriction, it's like choosing to open, choosing to be in touch with all the things. It's choosing to go and be in nature and sit on the beach and jump in the water and do all the things. It's like when our physiology is doing it and our environment is reflective of the energy that we want to be in. It's like the energy inside us will change. Yeah.
I love that you called me out on that because words and language is so powerful, and we create these unconscious stories, right, that we don't even recognize. We're keeping ourselves in that place. And that absolutely is one of them. This idea of, oh, I had to do this or I have to do this, which is completely false. And for so many, because the world that I live in with the women that I work with, there is this belief, right, that like I'm staying because I have to. They're carrying that subconscious belief of I have to be in this relationship because, and there's a multitude of reasons. One being I don't want to hurt this person. I'm afraid of the judgment of other people's opinions and what they're going to say about me if I start changing. And this have to energy around like I have to be this person or this version of myself that I was a year ago, 2 years ago, is what's keeping everybody in these very unhappy places and keeping them in their masculine, keeping men in their feminine, right? It's like, we don't have to do anything. Like you get to remove access. Like somebody doesn't, I can catch it so fast when I hear somebody justifying the reasons. And I say all this because I've done it myself so many times. Oh, but it's always that. Oh, but like, let me just explain why I'm here and why he's like a great guy.
Yep.
But like we know, right? And I would imagine like men know too when you're existing in a relationship that just is not right.
Can only speak through the male lens on this one and say that the less ready a man is, the less it's going to take for him to leave. Okay. So men, the taxi light theory, I think we've talked about this, right? For anyone who hasn't heard my kabillion videos on this, it's the taxi light theory from Sex in the City. The four women are looking in the mirror, they're doing the makeup and stuff. And I think Miranda says to whatever, Charlotte or something like that, she goes, men are like taxi cabs. They drive around and their light is off. They're not picking up any passengers, committed partners. And at one day they just like decide that they're ready, turn the light on, and the first person that they pass, they pick up, and that's their wife, basically. Basically said men don't marry the love of their lives. That's something women do. Men marry the woman that is there when he is ready. And so why do people not choose themselves? I think it's female language, right? I don't know many men that have broken up and been like, I just had to choose myself in this. I've actually never heard a man say that.
I hope no man says that. Yeah. I actually don't want to hear a man say that.
Exactly. And you obviously have to say, you go queen, whether it's a guy or a girl, you have to answer. That's what you have to say, right? You go queen, go girl. I think that from my experience, the less ready one is, the less they're going to put up with in relationship, and the less they're going to work at the relationship. I remember being in a really awesome relationship. I was in my early 30s, fantastic relationship. The sex was awesome. Nothing crazy. Those sex lives that you have that are just easy and good. You get into bed, neither of you are planning on it. You have sex, maybe it lasts 10 minutes, maybe it's a half an hour, whatever. Maybe 3 minutes, maybe 2 hours, whatever. You never know. But it's just always solid.
Yeah.
It was that, it was so great. And she was a lovely woman. She has 2 kids now. And I broke it off just because it was hard. It got a bit hard because I wanted to move into a different city, and I would literally logically went through the whole process in my mind of okay, yeah, this woman's, she's good. This is a great relationship, but this is where I'm at on my mission. This is what I foresee myself doing for the next 10 years, at least 5-10 years. And does that line up with this relationship? And women typically don't like to hear men talk about relationship like that, but in the male brain, it's much more logic based, right? There's emotion, of course, and there's your person, your love of your life and whatever, but our missions are paramount. They're the most important things to us. Yeah. When we talk about safety, a guy who you don't feel safe around, a guy who doesn't have a mission, or a guy whose mission is you.
Yeah.
It's not a sexy look.
Well, what about the man that doesn't feel safe within himself?
Hey, he doesn't have a mission.
Yeah.
If a guy doesn't have a mission, he doesn't know this is, by the way, most people overthink a mission. They think, he needs to know what he's doing for the rest of his life. Is not the case. This guy is someone who decides what he's going to do for the next 3 years, or even the next year, or the next 5 years, whatever it is, and he's going wholeheartedly toward it. He might change that mission in 3 years from now, as other evidence, is illuminated and other things come into play. That said, you need a guy who decides, and I'm working toward this, a guy who's obsessed with long-term gratification or delayed gratification. right? Not a guy who's addicted to short-term gratification, right? Porn, sugar, coffee, fucking whoever he wants to fuck because he needs some validation in the next 24 hours or whatever it might be. That's all short-term stuff. Someone who's like loves long-term, delayed gratification.
Yeah.
And that's where he gets his hits from.
Do you think it really is attached to this for a man? Like, this is too hard for me. Can't, I'm out. That's where like the shutdown comes in.
For sure. And I think it's like, yes, it's like, this is too hard for me. Or in my case, it was always like, this is going to take away from my mission. Dealing with all of this, it's doable. But do I want to invest the time, energy, and resources toward this right now at this point on my mission, right? I remember that time being my early 30s, being like, you know what, I'm gonna go late 30s. I'm gonna start having kids in late 30s. I decided probably even in my late 20s, I'm like, I'm gonna wait till my late 30s to start having kids because logically that just made the most sense to me, based on how much ambition I have. Not every guy's gonna be like this. If a guy's like, I have stupid levels of ambition, right? And I had them back then, and I was like, I can't stop this energy that I have. I don't want anything to slow me down. And so therefore I don't want to put in the work that's required in a relationship. I'm just going to move on, and there will be a time that I open up, and there is that. And for me, I now have space for it. And for me, I can see like my mission is like deep. I mean, I've got my professional mission, which is very clearly laid out for the next like 10 years. But like my mission in life is to become like a more authentic, deeper, embodied version of myself. And that's actually only going to happen in relationship. Yeah. So rather than the relationship is going to get in the way of me accomplishing my mission, the relationship is like a gateway to me accomplishing my mission in many ways. Yeah. So do guys leave because they think it's too much? Sure, absolutely. And that guy's going to go through the same cycle over and over again, looking for, and I've done this, looking for an easier woman to be with. And the easier woman to be with, the less polarity he's going to have, the more he's going to yearn for that woman that was too much. Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah.
Like I met a woman recently, very, very feminine woman, this woman. And I could tell, I was like, oof, yeah, that'd probably be a lot to deal with in a relationship. And I would choose no other kind. Everything else is just like pandering to your fear or your avoidance.
Yeah.
You know, I want give me all the emotion.
But that's because you've done a ton of work, right? Like now you have a level of awareness. You've moved through it. You've done the cycle, right? That many times where you're like, okay, yeah, now I know. And I was just saying earlier before we started recording that a theme for me is the relationships, because I've been a relationship girl my whole life, except since I got divorced. And this is the first time I've ever been single. And the theme for me is always after the relationship ends, that man realizes how good it was and always comes back around at some moment or some point. And you know, by that point I've so moved on, right? The door's completely closed for me. And it's just been really interesting for me to kind of recognize that that's been a pattern for me. And it just kind of is exactly what you just said.
So it sounds like, your experience, has your experience been the guy thinks that you're too much?
Yeah.
And then he exits and then he realizes what he lost?
No, the ending of the relationship was either myself or it ended because it was, you know, not working out. But pretty much always was me choosing it. But me choosing it was based on this relationship isn't working, right? Of like you're withdrawing, you're pulling away, or I had one relationship that was an alcoholic, and that was, you know, extremely toxic dynamic, but
could be fun.
It was
every
fun.
damn night. No, sorry,
so bad.
I'm sorry to break your phone.
I had to leave the state. I had to leave.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
Why are we talking about this guy?
It was like I was 21. It was right before I moved to Park City. And then the next guy I met, married him. Decided like this is the guy because it was
from boozer to bride. What was this guy's drink of choice?
Oh God, probably everything. Yeah. I mean, he was, you know, a Hawaii boy, like a you know, classic Hawaii boy. So beers, alcohol, all of the above. But yeah, that theme of realizing afterwards, like how, there was actually a lot here, but I missed out on that. I wasn't ready, right? And I think.
Oh yeah. I mean, can we just fucking say it for a second? You guys, women, I get the voice notes, the DMs, whatever. We're chatting about it. Frickin' Christy was chatting about it. Yeah, I gotta get a guy who can hold my emotions. Fuck, I get it. It's fucking hard. I'm telling you, it's hard sometimes. Because like I said, you guys can have some barbs. Dude, sometimes you guys like plant those little landmines, and I know you're doing it on purpose, right? You say something the guy's not going to like fully get right then, but you're like, he'll be thinking about that later. You know,
The
like,
test.
yeah, good luck with your self-esteem after that gentle barb that I just sent. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And we
yeah.
go home, we're like, wait a second. Who am I? You just like, 5D chest our brains. And I get it. I get it. From women, it's like, it's easy to say, I want a guy who's emotionally mature and he's emotionally in tune and intelligent and all that kind of stuff. And at the base of it, what we need to know as men, unpopular opinion, is that women cannot help but fucking with you. To a guy. They just can't help it. They can't help it. They're going to test you.
Yeah.
These little freaking tests. Here's another one. And they fucking never stop. Right? So give a guy a break.
Yeah. Well, it's like, how much do you love me is where the test comes from. It's just like I just want to be reassured. But honestly, if we were just more, if we were all radically honest, right?
Okay.
And I say that I absolutely have existed in the like deepest levels of the opposite of that.
Okay.
Like we know that I had an affair. So I have definitely experienced the opposite of holding secrets and feeling not safe in that. But if we were all just honest, truly honest,
Then what?
that wouldn't happen. That dynamic
testing?
that dynamic wouldn't happen to the degree in which it does, I think.
What?
Yeah.
Women wouldn't test?
Because there's something missing. When we're testing, there's something for us of like, likely I don't feel safe. Right?
Jesus.
And if we just communicated, and not
Yeah.
that I don't feel safe,
Yeah,
but if
yeah.
we just communicated, hey, I'm feeling this, right? But from a man, it's hard to receive that because that's received as I'm not good enough, right?
You know, what it really hit me when the word that you said, where that term, something's missing. And I think that book, Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus. Classic. I haven't read that in ages, probably since I was like early 20s, but the sentiment behind us being from different planets is such a fantastic sentiment, especially because what you just said, there's something missing. And yes, there's something missing from the female experience that is perpetually wanting new emotions to be felt. From the male experience, there's nothing missing, right? He's happier than a clam, right? He's stoked, as we say where I'm from, happier than a pig in shit. I don't know why, but anyways, he's very happy. Nothing was missing. The test, the whatever, because you were feeling something was missing, maybe some emotional intensity was missing, actually felt like an intrusion. It actually felt like it was taking away. What's really interesting, it felt like it would feel to us like, whoa, like everything's so good.
Yeah.
We just had a great dinner last night. We had great sex last night. Everything's lovely. Breakfast is on the way, or we're going to go for a walk today. Now you're doing this thing, right? But she's just being like, yeah, I just haven't felt emotions for 7 minutes. So I kind of want to feel them right now with you. You know?
Yeah.
And he's going, but we haven't felt emotion for 7 minutes, meaning it's gone so well.
Yeah. We just always want more. And I'll give you an example. The last guy that I was seeing, he came to visit, came over to my parents' house, met my family, my brother and my nephew were there, and his partner, my sister-in-law, and Rebel, my whole, like the crew was there. They went swimming in the pool, and then him and I went back to my place afterwards. And I said to him, I'm laughing at it now. I said to him, I feel really disconnected from you right now.
Fuck, of course you do.
And he was like, what?
Yeah.
Like, what he said to me, which triggered the shit out of me. And I've since settled and understand his experience so much. But he said, any other woman would have been so excited about what just happened. And I inside was like, well, I'm not any other woman, right? The whole defensiveness kicks in. Because he's like, I just swam in the pool with your daughter. I met your whole family. Do you know how much energy that was for me?
You got what you wanted. What the under part, the underneath, the dark, not in a bad way, the dark, the subconscious part of you was like, I want some emotional intensity right now. Mm-hmm. Therefore, you brought something up that actually had nothing to fucking do with anything. It was actually the opposite of what had happened, right?
Yeah.
To get emotional intensity. So him breaking out or you freaking out and all that stuff, the under part of the dark part, the subconscious is like, fuck yeah, this is exactly what I wanted. Right. And I think, I don't know, I'm in 44 and I just feel like I'm just scratching the surface, but I think there needs to be not just a lack of going the other direction for men at these tests, and not just an acceptance that these tests are going to come, but a celebration that they're coming. And by the way, easier said than done. Very easy to yap on a podcast for me about this. Be very different if my woman, I don't have one right now, but if my woman was like testing me with the shit that you guys bring up, which is so valid. Like that's the thing, is like you bring up the really, really, really good stuff.
Yeah.
I'm hoping, and my intention is to like reframe and train my brain enough to go, oh, opportunity. There's an opportunity. She wants to feel some emotional intensity. And therefore, I'm not going to give it to her in the way of fighting with her. That's maybe her bid. It'd be like akin to a 13-year-old boy doing something wrong because he wants attention from his parents.
Yeah.
Right? I'm not going to bite on that of her bid to like fight, but I'm going to give her some emotional intensity in another way. Again, easier said than done.
Yeah. I love that you called it, I don't know if you said this exactly, but like the dark energy, because it is the shadowy stuff, right?
Yeah, y'all are the moon, we're the sun.
Exists in us, right? But it's like it comes up and out in the way that I just explained. If we really just knew that that's always going to be there, right? That's the thing that we're craving, that's the thing that we're missing, and for a man to just, as you said, see that as an opportunity, and though hold firm in it. This was the first guy that I had dated who didn't allow me to be all up here in my madness. He checked me many times, and it was super uncomfortable for me. As I said, very triggering. And since I've had time and space to reflect back on it, I realized that, oh, I need that. I don't want to be the version of me that's like, constantly testing, not being checked back. Every other man that I've dated before has been passive to it, has just taken it.
So you're saying, you're saying that the more man checks you or keeps you in check and, keeps you contained, the less that you would actually test.
Yeah. Yeah. But in a way, like, cause you don't want to put, like I would shut down if I always felt like put down or too much. Right. So I think there's like, it's tough. It's not easy necessarily, but I do think that there is something like a need for us as women, because we don't want to be able to get away with everything, right? We want to be checked. We don't want to be having, I'm going to go to the extreme, but we don't want to be having an affair, right? We don't want to go to that place, but it happens in a lot of relationships, and this may, ruffle some feathers here, but like we're not fully to blame, right? Like the person that you're in a relationship with, there is a reason why the woman has left.
Yeah, I know. And it's like I know you get some colorful messages from guys when you bring this topic up. I think the word cheating, the word adultery, the word infidelity, these are obviously very charged things. Do I agree with someone going and having sex outside of a committed relationship? Obviously not, but that's just because chances are the two people agreed, here's the agreements of our relationship, let's stay within them. Duh.
Yeah.
And if you think of like the way that a man cheats or a woman cheats, very different. A man cheats typically for physical reasons, right? I'm not saying it's good or bad. I'm saying it's bad, because if it's in a committed relationship, you absolutely shouldn't do it.
Yeah.
Full stop. There's many steps ahead of that.
Yes.
That can happen. And for a woman, it's typically cheating more for emotional reasons than physical reasons. And so if we took the charged word, let's say for a second here, and cheating and stuff, and we threw that out, and we said, there's a man who his needs are not being met, and I'm not putting that on the woman, because his needs might be beyond the capacity for one woman to fulfill, right? If there's a deep need for validation and he feels like really, really not enough, and he needs a perpetual conveyor belt of validation coming from him, it doesn't matter what the woman did physically. She could be a acrobat and whatever in the sack, and he's not going to feel fulfilled, because it has nothing to do with her. It has to do with his, what do they call that? Hungry ghost of a wound, right? And if we did but his needs weren't being fulfilled. And in a woman cheating, her needs are not fulfilled.
Yeah.
And again, it's not necessarily the man's fault, but chances are they've both contributed to the needs not being met. And the outcome, again, I'm not agreeing with anything that's outside the confines of their agreement, but it's a deeper, more nuanced subject than most people think. Tell me the funniest thing that you've been called from that.
The funniest thing, I mean, the
Like,
things
don't
that
you
always,
just looking like, wow?
yes, like, you good? You
Hey,
good,
you're right.
sir?
Yeah.
Like, everything okay? I mean, like, especially because I had an abortion, then it's like, oh, and
I
you
forgot
killed the
about
baby,
that part.
and
Yeah,
you're
yeah,
a
yeah.
baby killer. Yeah, I mean, like, the name calling is extreme, but it like doesn't affect me anymore in that sense. But it is interesting, the blame game, right, that exists, rather than, again, radical honesty. Like, that's now the place that I attempt. It's not easy necessarily, but to have those conversations, because for women and for men, right, it's a slow build. It doesn't just happen. It doesn't just happen overnight. There's a level of disconnect or things that are going unsaid that's taken place for a while for a relationship to get there.
I don't know if I agree with that.
Really?
From a male, I totally agree with it from a female perspective, because everyone that I've heard, when I talk to women who have been unfaithful or whatever you want to call it, cheated, it's typically like you're right, a total slow burn. There might have been a loss of respect, loss of polarity, loss of attraction, lots of whatever. And it gets to this point where there's this need to feel, maybe it's to feel contained or to feel safe or to feel whatever, to feel something.
Yeah, to feel
alive. To feel alive, that
Yeah.
they're not feeling in their relationship. And they go that direction. Whereas a guy, I don't think.
Really?
I think one of the reasons that people cheat often is to end a relationship that they just couldn't end. They didn't have the balls to end it themselves.
Yeah.
So they do that.
But that's what I mean, though. Like, there's a reason. You're not just making that decision, right? Out of
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I'm sure I would guess that some people are just like serial cheaters or something like that, and they do that. But if I'm trying to think of guys that I know, I mean, I cheated on women in my early 20s when I was in monogamous relationships. How much though? Maybe once with that person, twice on that person. That was a need for validation. And also I shouldn't have been in the relationship.
Yeah.
I haven't cheated on anyone for 18 years.
Well, that's my argument is like, you don't want to be in the relationship.
Yeah.
Both sides, I think. But obviously,
Agreed.
I don't know the male's perspective. But
agreed. It's like a guy. You can't have your cake and eat it too. It's like guys that are, let's say in their 20s, especially like mid 20s, even early 30s. This feeling of do you know how many sperm a guy produces in a month?
No.
Like 1 billion. I've had millions a day. I just looked it up yesterday. I was writing my book. And obviously you know how many eggs a woman releases during ovulation. So like once a month.
I actually don't know the answer to that.
Releases one egg per ovulatory cycle.
It's interesting that I didn't know that. Yeah.
One.
Okay. Yeah.
1 billion. One. Women optimize for best.
Yes.
The best sperm for that one egg.
Yeah.
Men optimize for more. You get some sperm, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's all over. So it's just different like operating systems.
Yeah.
And so therefore a guy cheating, if we look at it like from that base level of the way that a man procreates and the way the woman procreates is very different. I mean, same act obviously, but it's a very different approach to procreating. A man is more, a woman is best.
Yeah.
Right. And she's like wanting to be discerning and siphon through and figure out like who's got the right, like the broad shoulders and the masculine traits and all that kind of stuff when she's ovulating. And then she's in luteal phase. She's actually optimizing more for a guy who's safe, who's going to stick around if there's a baby.
Yeah.
Right. And we still are run by these operating systems. And whereas a guy, he's like, oh, I got another shot. Oh, I got a shot with this woman. Got a shot with this woman. There's his operating system is like, just go and impregnate as many as possible.
Can't relate.
Try living in that brain.
Can't relate at all to that.
Therefore, I think I've put a lot of thought into this. Like, is polyamory normal? Is monogamy normal? Is just out of relationships normal? I don't think none of them are normal.
Yeah.
There's no standard. It's like if we actually went into a relationship, monogamy. That's the most prevalent in our culture.
Yeah.
We went into monogamous relationships and we're like, all right, we're going into this. Let's just be honest. It's against my design. It's against your design.
Yeah.
But we're going to do it anyways. And there's part of us that we're meant for it. I'm not saying our whole system is against it, but like the deeper animalistic parts of us that want to procreate at any cost, this is, not technically in alignment with those things, with what a lot of our urges are. So going into it being like, it's you and I against the world, babe. Let's do it. I just feel like if going into a relationship, and this is what I would love going into a relationship, is like, I want to show you, actually, this is a cool like depiction of it. I want to show you the light, all the things that are good about me. Like in 10 days, dear, I'm going to go to Mexico. We're going to build 20 homes for 20 families. Okay. I'm very empathetic and I love this stuff. And I'm really good at like structuring things and creating really good experiences. Right. Lovely, Taylor. It's in the light stuff. Right.
Yeah.
And I can be toxic as fuck at times. And I'm very hard. It's hard for me to forgive. So when you fuck up, you're probably going to hear about it more than you would like. I'm going to do my best. I'm really into personal growth. I'm telling you, this is all true. Very into personal growth. I've got 4 coaches. I have, they're great. Really good coaches. We just hired one like full time for our team. I have 4 coaches I'm going to grow, right? And if I feel rejected, it's going to come out in passive aggressive ways. And I told you, I said that women are good at planting landmines. You never seen my landmines. My landmines are fucking gnarly. That's in me.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But I'll talk it out with you. You know what I mean? Like, that's the relationship that I would love to get in, is like, yeah, by the way, I can be pretty gnarly. If I feel rejected, dude, I don't like that guy. I don't like that version of me. If I feel rejected in some way.
Yeah, me neither. I don't know if anybody does.
No, I know, but I was just like, I was saying if there's a contest for most averse reaction to rejection. I'm on the podium, at least. I don't know if I've won it, but I'm on the podium. There's a trophy getting handed to me. Okay. So, and the flip side of being a very empathetic human is you're also very in touch with people, how they feel from a positive point. You also detect the soft spots and the weak spots very quickly as well.
Ooh, like I'm going to go into that.
Oh, yeah. Think.
Oh.
Yeah.
Never seen that side of you.
No, I don't know that you'll see it. It comes up very, very rarely. And the only time that actually comes out typically is like in my fantasies in business of like, oh, I'm going to fucking destroy that person's business. Right. I never do it. I get back to like, whatever. But I think a relationship like that, of like, let's bring the dark, let's bring the light all at the same time.
Yeah.
Therefore, when it comes up, we can go, oh yeah, I forgot you're a fucker and you do that stuff.
Yeah.
And the guy can be like, God, I'm glad I told you
that
this isn't new. Makes sense?
Yeah, that's like, again, radical honesty, right? To me, because I love talking about monogamy and open relationships and things like that. I naturally sort of called into my life after I was dating somebody last summer, and that ended, and rightfully so, it wasn't right. And then I was like, I'm just open. Like, I just want to experience. And I went on a first date to a music festival with him and like 40 of his friends. And they were the most open humans I've ever been around in my life. And it was beautiful. And it also tested me of like, oh, I'm here with this guy, but like this other woman is sitting on his lap right now. I'm like, nope, that's okay. I'm okay with that. Like, why do I feel that feeling?
That's nice.
And then there were other beautiful men that were like talking to me and flirting. And so it was I loved it. I also went to my first play party. Didn't do anything, was way too shy. But it was so necessary for me to
If you did do something at a play party, what would it be? What's a scenario? What's an experience that you would like to have that you haven't had at this point?
I've never had a threesome before. That still is like something.
Would you want another woman and a man, or two guys?
Either, both. But in an environment, I feel like I would like to experience both of those things. And that's also why I put myself in that place. But my body was like, nope, this isn't the time. I was on my period. So my body was like, be safe. I need to be held.
Right.
So I just kind of observed. But that experience in general opened my mind to see, does this feel right for me?
Yeah.
And it was a necessary experience for me to have. And though I've come back to, no, I really do want like a sacred union type of relationship in the level of deep honesty, dark, light, all of it, so that we can have those conversations of, hey, I'm shutting down, or hey, I'm feeling interested in this other person and I want you to be aware, right? because that happened to me.
Yeah,
That's been my
nice.
theme in
Yeah.
relationship, but I never communicated any of that stuff. And I know that it needs to be there needs to be a dance.
Cool. I like it. So where are you going to go to get these fantasies?
Experiences? I don't know.
lived out?
I think I told you
You
recently.
go to ISTA.
Yeah, I don't know. That
We were just
feels
talking about ISTA before. What? It feels what?
just too many people.
That's a lot.
And like of all ages, like I feel like I would rather go to like a play party and be the one where I'm like I get to choose.
Yeah, that makes
right.
sense.
It's not like curated activities. I may be open to
Right,
that.
sure.
I may be open to that at some point. This year, like I've cleared everything out of my life that doesn't feel aligned. Like I'm not drinking alcohol. I'm not smoking joints at all anymore. I am doing psilocybin, but that's the only thing because I want to feel in my body and in my experience. And I've removed
good for
access
you.
to anyone and anything that doesn't feel right for me. And so I'm not seeking out those experiences, but I'm open to if they
Got it.
present themselves.
Ladies, gentlemen, did you hear that? You can DM her. It's De'Ara Story on Instagram at this ISTA. And I hope people have heard of it because if they've heard of it, they're going to comment on it.
I've never heard of it until you talked about it. I mean, years
so
ago.
ISTA is called ISTA International School of Temple Arts. And the reason I went, I was just chatting with Christy about this, was I was sitting in San Diego at my place and this friend of mine was over and she's like, I was talking about like feeling, I told her about how I nude modeled. And she was like, what? Because I nude modeled to put myself in a position where I felt very uncomfortable. So that, because I was doing a lot of speaking at that time. That's how I made my money, was a professional speaker. And, or that was a big part of the company that I had, I should say. It was me getting out and speaking and getting people to raise money and stuff like that. And the more comfortable I was in myself, the better my talks were. So I was searching for ways to get more comfortable with myself. And so I did this nude modeling thing where they paid me $40. I sat there for 3 hours. I said 3 hours, butt naked in front of these people I've never met them before. And in the freaking neighborhood that I lived in, right? So like, this wasn't even, I should have gone to another town or something. Maybe it was like advertising. No, and they're like, they gave me this pose. I had to go kind of, I think it was cross-legged and like this, this pose. You can't move for 3 hours. And they tell you kind of like, or they give, there's a break, but you got to look at this one spot so that your nose doesn't move too much. You know, you can't fidget and stuff like that. There's not a flattering pose. I don't know if you know the male anatomy. The pullback is not a, you know, you really want to be
like tucked?
no, I think it was
Hanging out.
Hanging.
Wow. Okay.
Swinging. Swinging a very average swing. No. And I'm officially derailed in this podcast, but I'm sitting in nude modeling and feeling all the feelings of insecurity, not enough. What else? Vulnerable, not safe, judged, shame, whatever. The feelings, right? They're all coming up. And I wanted them because I wanted to feel them. Because I tell you, if you can sit in front of people naked as they draw every part of you, it's much easier to go on stage. And so then I would go on stage after doing something like that and I would feel in my body, I'd be like, I don't care because I just had a bunch of people staring at me naked for 3 hours, right? And this woman tells me about ISTA. She goes, I heard that you got to stand in front of 40 people naked and tell them everything that you are embarrassed about on your body. And I was like, fucking signed up. I went to the site. I didn't even know what ISTA stood for. And I just like signed up. And it turns out, I think there's like an ISTA code. And I think we're not supposed to talk about it too much, but let's talk about it a bit. You're definitely naked in front of everybody the first day, right? And I was not a nudist colony kind of guy, right? You're naked in front of everyone. And the way that I felt afterwards, and people are going to have their mixed reviews on ISTA. I also think it's probably easier as a man who very rarely if ever feels unsafe to talk about it. It's like, yeah, it was great. You know, got my body more, whatever. Probably different for a lot of people. I don't want to, minimize their experiences. That said, it was a fantastic experience for me. I came home so embodied, so alive, so like feeling very, very, very much myself. Because of pushing myself into a place that was like far beyond my comfort zone. Why did I start telling you about this? Oh yeah, the threesomes. So this is what I was thinking is like, one thing that they teach you there is like just making requests, like genuine requests of what you'd like to experience. So there's this whole thing, I don't know if it's day 3 or day 4 or whatever, but they teach you like, if you want to experience something, just you go up to someone and say, hey, can I make a request? And the person says, sure, if they want. If they don't want to hear the request, they say, nope. You go, okay, got it. Thanks for taking care of yourself, and you walk away, right? And I remember this woman coming up to me and she goes, Taylor, and she's kind of flushed and nervous. I'm like, yes. She goes, I already know she's going to make a request.
Yeah.
She goes, I'd like to make a request. She's like staring at my eyes, but like reciting a script in her head or something, right? I'm like, okay, what is it? She goes, I want, and I'm thinking she's going to say like, do you want to have some sort of a sexual experience or something like that? She goes, I want you to hunt me. I'm like, what? Tell me more about the hunting so I can know if I want to hunt you or not. She goes, I want it to be like, I want to be like an animal that's getting chased by a bigger animal. And I don't want to know when it's going to happen. And I want you to chase me and eventually catch me. And I looked at her and I was like, I'll definitely catch you. And she just kind of goes, oh, and I was like, talk to you later, and left. And we just never mentioned it again. For the like 2 days later, I'd been up all night having quite an interesting experience. And I was in a hot tub with a couple of friends, and we're sitting in the hot tub. We're all butt naked and we're talking, and I see this woman, and she's walking down from like her morning sunrise meditation. She's very peaceful. She had like a nice full night's sleep and all that kind of stuff. She's walking out. She'd just been journaling in the rocks or something. We were just outside San Diego, and she's so peaceful. And she walks by the hot tub, doesn't see that I'm in there. But as soon as I saw her, it literally I got overcome with like predator, like wolf vibes. And I just like sunk into the hot tub like this. She walks by quietly. As I let her get like 20 feet ahead, and then I just fucking jumped out of the hot tub, butt naked, and I just started sprinting at her. She heard the commotion of like the water and stuff like that, and the people in the hot tub were like, what's happening, right? They're like, oh my God. She looks back, she screams and just starts running down the path, and I'm like, right behind her, and I grab her and like, do this, whatever. That's where it ended.
Yeah.
And so she got to have the experience that she wanted to have. And wouldn't it be a beautiful thing if we had these requests that we could just be open with someone and be like, hey, got a request.
Yeah.
This is something I would love to experience, whether sexual or energetic or whatever it is. Are you open to that? And the person being able to be like, yeah, I'll chase you, or yeah, we'll get into whatever experience that you want to have.
What's so interesting about that is I instantly right away am like, that's fucking weird. But then
what, getting chased?
like, yeah, like the whole like where that comes from. But that's all up here, right? When I drop into, and we actually have a real conversation of how beautiful it would be to just communicate, I have this request, or I had this thought, right? How many thoughts do we have about one another that never get shared anywhere?
Holy cow.
So many, right? And a lot of them, maybe inappropriate, but like a lot of them, if they're beautiful, right? It would be nice to hear them. I'm sure so many beautiful things have been said and communicated about you that would be would just fill you up.
Yeah.
For the rest of your
nice,
life, right? Like most of these things are only shared at funerals of how we truly feel about people. But to live in a world where we are more open to having conversations
let's do it.
like that. I mean, it's why I think why people love psychedelics and why they love
they make people
heart
more open,
openers,
for sure.
MDMA, right? All of a sudden, all of our fear kind of dissipates, and it's like, no, it's all love.
Yeah. Boom. Send that out into the podcast verse.
More psychedelics and more drugs.
Yep. We'll end on that. Thanks, De'Ara.
Love you, Tay.
Love you too.